What's going on, everybody? Joshua Koch here with VYPE Media. Over there's JP Tillman. You all know him as the QB Tech, 5-star General Academy here in Houston. And so I was thinking over the weekend, I was like, I got this idea. I got to call my guy JP. How about we go in the pocket with JP Tillman? I came up with the name instantly. It was perfect. And we are going to meet up. It's good. It's good. We're going to meet up every week, and we're going to talk about some of the best quarterbacks in the city of Houston throughout the entire playoffs, and then we're going to make something out of this during the offseason and into next year. JP Tillman trained some of the best quarterbacks in the city of Houston. He's trained state champions before. A couple that come to mind, Cam Arnold, Cy Fair, the only state championship ever won in Cy Fair ISD history is won by Cam Arnold. Demetrius Davis, everyone knows who he is. He's also trained a bunch of other guys as well. JP, appreciate you coming on and kind of becoming our VYPE quarterback analyst here and going in the pocket.
I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, so let's talk about some of the big names. We're going to talk about 4 guys today we're pretty excited about. First, let's start with Conor Wigman over at Brideland High School. Brideland going 10-0 on the season. They defeat Cy Fair last week. Wigman had to dig his offense out of a 16-0 deficit last week. And, JP, we have watched this guy's recruiting in the football realm go through the roof this season, including getting offers from Oklahoma and Texas. What makes him so good on the football field?
The first thing, and I think you hear everybody saying it, is the guy's a winner. You know, I mean, you just said it, 16-0, Cy Fair. They're the new kids on the block, but still, there's just something about the Brideland team that allows them to just, you know, dominate, to step over that hurdle and say, you know, we're also in contention to be one of the best teams in maybe even the state, and so they'll go on through the playoffs, and I think they have a really good shot of winning it all. The quarterback, Conor Wigman, like I said, a winner, bona fide quarterback that can win with his arm, strong arm. You can see it on a lot of the RPOs they do. You can see it with the downfield passing. I really like how they run him on different types of, you know, down and distances. They do a good job keeping the defense on their toes too. Coach Rafield should be, you know, given a Nobel Peace Prize for just how he's able to go from team to team to team and get these guys to band together and play some football. You know, it's been awesome.
What about Conor? Because, I mean, you know, we kind of knew about him coming into the season. Like you mentioned, he's a big baseball guy. He you know, he's on the top of a lot of a list. But this year, you know, you don't get offers from Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma and Tom Herman in Texas unless, you know, you're up there with quarterbacks. Mechanically, what does he do so well? And I've seen him once this season. It looks like his decision-making is just really good when he's out there with the ball.
Quick release, gets the ball off really fast. You match that up with a strong arm, being able to throw from different platforms. The guy, you can see the baseball transition into how he plays, even how he, you know, his swag. He's like that guy that's throwing somebody out at first. You know, it's really cool to kind of watch him play the game. And I could see why Lincoln Riley and, you know, the staff at Texas, you know, have been kind of in awe about the kid. I mean, big kid too. We're not talking about like a 6'1", 180. You know, this kid's like legit 6'3", 210 plus pounds. You know, he's very big. You know, you can see it on film. I think a good way to kind of compare it was when you seen them play Cy Woods. You know, Cy Woods had a really big quarterback too. And that was kind of a slug it out game for Brideland. You know. It was a game where they didn't really score a whole lot of points, but they did a good job offensively, you know, figuring out how to chip away at Cy Woods, which was, you know, controlling the game, running the ball with their aggressive style.
So we talked a little bit about Conor Wigman. He's going to go into the playoffs. Brideland's going Class 6A Division II, which is going to be very interesting to watch because, like you mentioned, this team is loaded and can make a run at this.
Oh, yes. I mean, if you look at the players they have, like Dylan Crippen, you know, that's a big old tight end. Tyler Stott, and those are players that I know very well because Connor, Tyler, Cripp, they all played on my 7-on-7 and 7-on-7 team when they were younger, when they were middle schoolers going to high school. And so, you know, all of those. I know how dominating they can be and how they can take over the game. And it's just a very quiet team that not a lot of people know a lot about. But the players on that team are not being so quiet, you know.
Yeah, if you don't know who the Bridgeland Bears are, you're about to find out real quick here in about in about a week when they get going in the playoffs. Another guy that needs no introduction. I think your exact words earlier was there's not many high school players that literally can have a play go viral every single week, and that's Demetrius Davis and the North Shore Mustangs. Demetrius and company, they go to 10-0 on the year. They win another district championship, and Demetrius Davis does it with his legs and his arms. And you've known this kid since he was in the 7th grade. You've watched him win back-to-back state championships. You've watched him grow as a quarterback. You've watched him grow as a player. Just, are you in awe of it sometimes when you see what he does, or are you just not surprised?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I'm just as, in awe as everyone else when he does the things he does. And not all of it's me. I probably got 1% in there, Like, he's just an awesome kid, a kid that's allowed himself to grow in the process, to trust everything that's, he's been asked of him. He trusts himself. He has a great family that kind of supports him, and when you see that guy go out there and play, he's just having fun. Being able to teach him how to, get out of sticky situations and make stuff happen. Y'all are seeing it, firsthand. And we're just all sitting here watching this young kid who's, no taller than probably 5'11", and he's doing his thing, and everyone's rooting for him. I think it's cool to see how many people have through the years started to believe in him and what, not just him, but his team. That team when he was a freshman, he took it over. I believe they were 2-4 his freshman year. And to see them go on 7-1, and lose to the king, Katy, I think it was needed for that team, and it was needed for him, so they could see what it needs to happen, so that they can dominate past that fourth quarter in that playoff, the fourth round of that playoff game. To try to be able to succeed, and not only succeed, but to play 16 games, because to play 16 games is not easy, and these kids, Demetrius and North Shore, have done it, 2 years in a row, on top of going 14 games, their freshman year. And so we're watching the most winningest 6A quarterback in Texas history right now. And I think he'll finish it off. Lord says the same. He'll be 52-2. And no one would have won any more games than that in any classification. And, and so I think what goes to say about Lil D is that the fact that through whatever adversity has been kind of pushed his way, we've seen a young man that's able to get his team and help his staff win the game at the end of the day. Last year he didn't have Shadrach and he didn't have Zach in the state final. The year before that, it was craziness, and it it just goes to show how the kid can do all types of things if when you see him believe and you see his teammates believe. It's just not just him. He vibes off his teammates too. I love seeing Shadrach, and I love seeing Charles and Xavier Owens and all those guys just continue to gel, and it's cool to see what they've kind of cultivated together in these past 3-4 years.
Yeah, the one thing John Kay says about Demetrius is he kind of does whatever you ask him to do. He knows when he needs to be a certain type of quarterback. If he's going to be the throwing type, like in 2018 where he threw a lot downfield, in 2019 they asked him, hey, you got to run some more, and teams weren't prepared to stop the run from him, and he's continued to get better and better and stronger, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the playoffs. Another guy that's going to be fun to watch is the team that just won District 19 6A, ending Katy's long-standing hold on that district. Is Katy Tompkins and Jalen Milroe and company. Of course, Jalen Milroe is verbally committed to go to Alabama, and what do you liked about Jalen Milroe and how he's played this season? And he throws a hard ball, and it's a tight spin, and I mean you gotta be ready to catch it.
You're looking at a guy that has really put a lot of work into his craft. You're looking at a young man that put a lot of work into his body. I don't think there's a football player playing quarterback that looks like him, you know, in the state. When you just look at him, you're like, man, that kid there is a quarterback, not just a quarterback, but he's a dual threat quarterback that has also kind of like gone through the development stages like Lil D, where, is this guy a quarterback? People have those questions. And then both of these guys have answered that. And they've answered it in their own fashion. I love seeing the long ball. I thought he had gained so much more ball control this year than the past. It's just you can see him making throws and feeling comfortable and feeling like he can make those throws. He has control, and I think that's really going to be a strong suit for him, being able to use that power that he has to put the ball where he wants to in some tight windows and then on the next level, but also, to escape the pocket and use his athleticism to get downfield. I thought Texas was getting just a smorgasbord of quarterbacks, 5-star talent. And so it was, it was just eye-popping to see him kind of stay with Texas and see if that would kind of stay the thing, the trend. But to see him flip and go to Alabama, I thought that was another good decision made by him, and allow himself to kind of get in the room with a guy like Nick Saban in that quarterback room and continue his development, because we've seen how the quarterbacks develop at Alabama. We're kind of trying to see what happens at UT. I think everyone, and so it just makes sense. And I'm going to continue watching that young man because I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe in the game that I saw him in, which was against Katy, and that snapped that 75-game district winning streak for the Tigers. He was 15 of 21 for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I think any college coach will take those numbers on any given day.
Right, absolutely. And then when you take these guys putting out stats like this versus the teams they put them out, they put them on. It's not, the smallest of the smallest, not the weakest of the weak. Like, you're going against a juggernaut, Katy, and you're going lights out, and you're also making sure that you're not turning the ball over. This defense wasn't an easy defense, but it was a team that they thought they could beat, and we all watched them beat them.
So we've talked about 3 guys so far. The last guy we're going to talk about has gotten spring into the district championship this year. They beat Westfield on a Hail Mary. Bishop Davenport. This is a very impressive young man, and he's a younger guy. He can throw the ball definitely far, because we saw that in the Hail Mary against Westfield. He got it down into the end zone. You talk about this guy, like, what do you like about Bishop? And I mean, can we get this right, JP? Bishop Davenport is the perfect name for a quarterback, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
As long as they have enough space, behind the back here, the D to the T, so. It's this kid here is very impressive. Hasn't had a lot of quarterback coaching. One of the quarterbacks that I trained, Cliff McDowell, he had been training, just working with him. That was the spring quarterback that went to ULL, and he just had been working with him and told him, hey man, you need to go work with JP. I'm helping you, but you got to go to him. And so. He started coming to me, and I was just his coaches before he started coming. His coaches were reaching out to me and just kind of asking, what do we need to do, because this kid's having just an awesome season. So I'm always there to help the kids, and it's more of him, just people knowing about him. Spring, he came onto the scene this year, and everybody's like, dang, Spring's putting up yards. Spring's passing the ball. Spring's throwing it all over the place. Then they have this early game versus Westfield, and it's like, they just beat Westfield. Like, who's this kid? You know, not everybody else may say that because not everyone understands Houston or, you know, that district or how it is. But, you know, that's impressive. And for him to be able to do that and do it with the confidence that the team had and how they went out there with that play and you know, he moved around the pocket a little and threw that Hail Mary. And you just watched the kid just sling the ball 65 yards. And was like, that looks so easy, you know, and that was exactly, I was like, golly, you know, no one knows about this kid. And when you further look at him, you can see how cerebral he is, you know, how he's looking at different things on the field, opening things up with how he checks, how he looks off defenders. You know, it's pretty impressive, you know, and like I was telling you earlier, it's cool to see that district kind of have, you know, two strong powers and those going head to head in contests like that, you know, where it ends in a Hail Mary. Because there's always been some good spring Westfield games, but I think that was probably one of the best ones, you know. You know, Cardell did a great job, but spring just came off on top. And I think he has some good weapons to utilize, and him just being this young quarterback that seems to be about, I say, 6'3" and some change, and probably every bit of 215, 212. He's good size. I think he's done what a lot of the dual threat quarterbacks have done too in the city, which is I'm going to throw, and then I'll run when I have to, just so I can be labeled as a quarterback and not, you know, get evaluated as an athlete, you know. And I think that's smart. I think you've seen Demetrius do that over his time. And all that is a process. All of that is a plan. And it's a plan of attack to just take control of your recruitment and make sure that you're able to, you know, drive the wheel, drive the bus, you know, and you steer it how you want it. You want to be a quarterback, then show the world you're a quarterback. And I think that's what these quarterback coaches and trainers that have come here have tried to do to try to help these kids do. Is to learn how to be a quarterback, to learn the processes, to continually attack your craft, and see where that takes you. You know, put everything into it. The ball's gonna go flat, but until it does, put everything into it and go hard. You know, and so those are four great quarterbacks. All of them are undefeated. You know, I think we're gonna watch all four of these guys go deep, and you know, might even see some of them play each other. And hopefully, if that happens, we see some awesome games. And you know, one person's got to go home, one person gets to go on, but hopefully, you know, they leave in a great fashion. So.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get two really good quarterbacks. I mean, like this past Sunday, you know, we had Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go at it. When you get two good quarterbacks on the field, it's a lot of fun to watch those two go at it.
Absolutely, you know, absolutely. And I'm always, you know, safe how I say it, you know, because they go at it, but they go at it against each other's defenses, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like basketball, you know, where you kind of get to go, you know, I'm the point guard and I'm going against the point. No, that's not happening. You know, you're going against those 11 that play defense and they will never play offense, you know. And so that's where I think the two sports differ. But at the same time, you're sitting there and you see these guys go at it with the defenses, and it's like, okay, that's what you're going to go do? Let's go, guys. Now we got to get our stuff rolling. And you just see the leadership and you see these qualities in these guys that are men, and they're getting other men to help them go out there and finish the job. And the boys watching this, you know, you want them to kind of learn and grow and study these guys to kind of see, you know, that's what it's about. It's not about me versus you. You know, we can still be cool, but you know, I'm gonna have a better game than you. You know, and that's how they are when they come out here and they go work out. You know, the boys are just, they're friends, they're buddies, they're comrades, but at the same time, they're competitive. You know, and I see them rooting for each other. I see it in our group chat, you know, with them talking back and forth, and none of it's ever, you know, bitter. You know, all of it's all of it's encouraging. All of it's, you know, you did a great job. You know, I love how you did this. You know, and it's just awesome to see because, you know, they're all alphas, but they're still, you know, at the end of the day, they're young men and they have respect for one another. And it's cool.
Good. It's cool, especially when you see them on the field after the game and they're talking to each other. You know,
Big time.
they respect each other, they respect each other's games and stuff like that. And the four guys we talked about today, you know, Bridgeland's Conor Wigman, Katie Tompkins, Jalen Milroe, North Shore's Demetrius Davis, and of course the final one, Bishop Davenport from Spring. All four quality quarterbacks, four quality teams that we'll see in the playoffs. And yeah, JP, we'll have to do this again. And we've got so many quarterbacks to talk about. We could talk for hours on this, but we'll have to wrap up this first episode of In the Pocket with JP Tillman. We'll continue this throughout the playoffs and into the offseason as we continue to look at the quarterback position in the city of Houston. JP, we appreciate the time in this first installment of In the Pocket with JP Tillman.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, and it was a blessing.